Hello, and welcome to Daily Podcast number 2. Now, I've made some decisions since yesterday. One is that there's going to be absolutely no outline and no scripting for these podcasts. And the reason being is that this is just supposed to be a quick daily check-in of what I'm really excited about, what I'm dealing with, whatever's going on. So I just want it to be natural, and I'll try not to ho and hum and have a lot of ums in there and really lose my organization. Total side note, which I'm going to try and integrate as I do that a lot in person. Actually, there's a book called The Introvert Advantage, and part of that explains that introverts have a different flow of blood through the brain, point being, there are actually physiological reasons why sometimes introverts are at a loss for words. It's not just because we're completely antisocial. So I expect, in real life, a lot of times I can talk very fluidly, very freely, and just the words come naturally. A lot of times it's just staring at a wall, even though I know what I want to say. The words just don't come. Turns out there's a physiological reason for that, so I'll try and keep it to a minimum as best I can. Long story short, the thing that's really getting me today is how to host this podcast and my blog. Now, I've been doing a self-hosted WordPress, so it's on my own hosting, my own server, okay, not literally at home. It's through Rackspace, but it's all under my control. WordPress is a very powerful thing, but I've been considering moving it over to Posterous for this daily project. Now, I'm not a huge fan of Posterous for the auto posting features. As far as you can post, they've made it very easy to post by email, and you can set it to automatically go out to Facebook and Twitter and a bunch of other places. That really doesn't interest me at all. I'm actually very against that for some reasons, and that's a whole other post that maybe I'll do later. But the thing I do like about Posterous is the ease of posting. Even if I don't use the email functionality, it's nice to know it's there. But mainly, I just like that I put photos, I put video, put audio, put my thoughts, whatever, and it's all formatted automatically, pretty easy. They'll host stuff. They put an audio player automatically. The podcasting through it's easy. So it was very tempting to put this blog onto Posterous and just, honestly, day number 2 here, and what have I done? A couple dozen posts over the last year. There's not that many viewers. So I'm kind of thinking, why bother with a complicated setup, when there's not that many people yet? Just make it easy, get it done, put it out every day, and move on. This kind of gets into why I've been having problems with WordPress. I've been using WordPress for a year or more. I've done a lot of installs, and I long for the early days where WordPress just worked for me and I didn't know any better. Before long, I ran into plugin incompatibilities, and this is where it just kills it for me. WordPress, it's very powerful. It's very easy to start with, but then you start thinking, it'd be cool if I could do that. And there's a plugin for that, and I just have to install it, and that's easy. And then one day you install a plugin, you activate it, and you have a blank screen to look at. Now, if this ever happens to you, just Google WordPress white screen of death. It's really not that hard to fix. It's not that hard to undo. But then you're left with the fact that you want to use this plugin, but anytime you try and install it, it breaks. And then you wonder, well, is it this plugin that's breaking, or is it some other plugin that's incompatible, and maybe I'm okay with getting rid of that one if I only knew what it was. So you get into testing and blah, 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 and it's like, this is excessive. It's completely unnecessary and annoying to me. So, I like tools. I don't mind getting under the hood, even doing some coding. If I need to get into the PHP, I'm not great at it, but I can usually find a way to patch it together. But I like things that I can dig into if I want to customize, if I want to go deeper, but I hate things where you have to do that to make it work. Excuse me. And more, WordPress has just become one of those things that if you want to be more advanced with it, requires digging into. So it was really tough. Now, what it came down to, I suppose by the time this is posted, you'll know which one I picked. I was really close to going with Posterous. There's one thing that seems kind of minor, but was actually somewhat of a deal breaker for me, and I don't know if there's a workaround for this, but I was kind of leaning towards simplifying WordPress, but it's trackbacks. Now, trackbacks, if you're not familiar, if you do a blog post in response to someone else's blog post, when you link to it, it sends out a trackback where basically a lot of times it'll post a comment to their blog with that link back to your site. It's just kind of a way the blogs interact and recognize each other. Well, the biggest question for me in the WordPress versus Posterous is which one's going to be better to build a community? That's what it all comes down to. And are there any major ways that WordPress will help build a community specifically, or Posterous would hurt it? Well, here's the thing, and this is a real example. Seth Godin is someone I follow. I think he has a lot of great ideas that he puts out very succinctly, puts out a really quick post every day. My inspiration to try and keep this short, although I can see I'm running into several minutes already. So I follow Seth Godin. I love a lot of his stuff, and I know if I'm podcasting every day about what's really exciting, what I'm really into that day, I'm going to be responding to a number of his posts. Well, thing is, he does not put comments to his blog, but he does post trackbacks. And if my responses to his posts don't put a trackback to it, that's missing out on a significant opportunity to build my community. He gets thousands upon thousands of visits every day, and to miss out on getting those views is pretty significant for just starting out building a community. It's not that in alone isn't a deal breaker, but it's certainly a factor. So Posterous, as of right now, as best I can find, does not support trackbacks, and there's I guess talk among the Posterous developers that's kind of a future thing, but it's not definite, it's not scheduled, so it's hard to say. And meanwhile, that's somewhat important to me, and as much as I get frustrated with it, WordPress is very powerful to develop on. So what's my conclusion? The conclusion is stick with WordPress. I am somewhat familiar with it after a year plus. But here's some changes I'm going to make. I have been using the Thesis theme. Now, I'm not going to go into Thesis right now. It's kind of a very customizable, very powerful theme. It's more than a theme. It's a theme creator, a theme controller, customizing platform on top of WordPress. A lot of great things you can do with Thesis, but I suspect some of my problems are coming from it, and I'm going to find out. The most recent, actually, what do I have? I think I have Thesis 1.7, which is kind of being a little finicky with the newest WordPress, so I may just try and update it. But ultimately, I'm only using about 10% of the capacity of Thesis right now, so I'm thinking just get rid of it. Go a nice, simple, clean theme, not a lot of customizing, and just do exactly what I need it to do. Minimize my plugins to the absolute bare essentials. Because the problem I'm running into is I can't post these podcasts right now the way I want to, because the podcasting plugin is breaking WordPress for me. I know it's not that plugin. It's extremely popular. The Blueberry, I think it's PowerPress. It's basically the only big one left in podcasting plugins. So I know this works. I just need to figure out what's causing it to break and get rid of that, because nothing else is going to be as important as that right now. So long story short, I think I'm approaching my 10-minute limit. I'm going to simplify WordPress, simplify the plugins, just bare bones essentials, get it working. Now, if I still have problems at that point, I'm sure I'll be doing another post raging about that and finding the next solution. But that was kind of my big thing for today, which is too bad because there's some other things I wanted to post on as far as personal branding, business branding, and I actually got a kind of waste of money purchase in the mail today that I'm pretty excited about, so maybe that'll be tomorrow. But that's the thing for today. My internet's out, so hooray, I get to go drive a half an hour to go and try and upload this video and podcast. So I'm going to get to that. Hope this has been somewhat helpful for the 3 of you out there who are going to watch it, and appreciate the two YouTube views I got yesterday posting daily podcast number 001. So thanks to the YouTube viewers. Hope to build this quite a lot in the coming weeks and months, and hopefully it will be on a smoothly operating WordPress platform. So that's it for today. Thanks for listening, and I will see you tomorrow.